Hello friends, this is Dr. Shashi Agarwal. I welcome you all. Hopefully you all are safe and healthy. Today our subject is microeconomics and business economics as we are covering the topic wages, and wages we have covered in part 2. We have covered the chapter wages in two parts. In the first part I have covered the meaning of wages, what is the meaning of nominal wages, what is the meaning of real wages, and what are the factors. And then we also did a very important topic, that was marginal productivity theory of wages. And now we are going to cover the modern theory of wages. That is a very significant topic. It is also known as a demand and supply theory of wages, and its Hindi lecture is also available at my second channel, that is the Shashi Agarwal Economics and Law classes. First of all, we will understand a brief meaning of wages. As we all are aware that there are four factors of production: land gets rent, labor gets wages, and the capital gets interest, and the entrepreneur gets the profit. The price which is paid to the labor for using their services is known as a wages. And wages have a broader meaning. It also means the payment which is paid to the labor for their physical activities or for their mental activities, or both. Here the modern theory of wages says the price of the services of the labor, they are determined on the basis of demand and supply. The wages is determined by demand and supply. So demand for labor. So we will understand who are the people who demand labor, and what are the factors which influence the demand for labor. Demand for labor is made by the producer entrepreneur. It means at a given rate of wages, number of labor they are going to hire, and the maximum wage of the labor that could go to marginal productivity. The maximum wages that will be paid to the labor, that will be equal to the marginal productivity. And what is the marginal productivity? When there is a one labor who is producing 10 units, and then we keep another labor, and total production is 18. So here the marginal productivity of the additional labor is equal to 18 minus 10, which is equal to 8. The demand for the labor also depend upon the demand for the commodity, because demand for labor is derived demand. It depends upon the demand for those goods and services for which they are used, their services that is used to produce those goods and services. If the demand for those goods is less, there will be less demand for labor. If the demand for good is more, then there will be more demand for the labor. And the demand for the labor also depends upon other factors of production. That is also influenced by the price of other factors and possibility of substitution of the labor. If other factors of production they are more expensive, then there will be more demand for the labor. But if other factors are cheap, then there will be less demand for the labor. If there is a change in technology and the organization, they are adopting the technology which is more capital intensive, they are using more machinery, then there will be less demand for the labor. But if in the economy, investment is pumped into the economy, and it will stimulate demand, and there will be more demand for the labor. So the demand for labor, it has a demand curve which slopes downward, because at the low wages more labor will be demanded, at the more wages less labor will be demanded. So demand curve has a negative slope. Now we have understood the demand. Demand for labor depends on which things? Now we will understand supply of labors. Supply of labor refers to the number of days or hours for which a particular type of labor is willing to work at different wage rates. Supply of labor depends upon so many things, and here, like the demand and wages, they have inverse relation. More At low wages there will be more demand for the labor. At the low wages there will be more demand. At higher wages there will be less demand. But in case of supply of labor, there is a positive relation between the labor and wages. At the higher wages the more labor will be willing to work, and at low wages they will be less labor willing to work. Supply of labor depends upon economic factors, non-economic factors, and psychological factors. Economic factors means existing employment, desire to increase the monetary income, bargaining power of the labor, and what is the size of the population. And when we talk about the non-economic factors, the domestic environment, family affection, social condition, and the psychological factors. Supply of labor depends economic factor, non-economic factor. It is also influenced more by the psychological factors. Due to psychological factors, how much time he is ready to devote. Shape of the supply curve, the upward sloping curve from left to right, but due to psychological factor the supply curve could be backward sloping. Like the demand in this manner, the supply could this manner, but due to psychological factor the shape of supply curve is in this manner, that is the backward bending. Change of wages effect, see, like there is a substitution effect. When there is a rise in the wage rate, that will lead to increased supply of labor. Substitution effect is always positive. Income effect, better economic position of the labor. When the living standard of the labor is increased due to higher wages, so he will prefer layer to work. So income effect is negative. Increasing wages has two contradictory effects. Substitution, because substitution effect is more positive, so it will increase the employment, but income effect is negative, because when there is higher wages the labor will prefer more layer, he will not work, he will take rest. So in the beginning, when there is a rise in the wage rate, substitution effect is powerful, then income effect it is powerful than the income effect, so wage rate will increase the supply. But after such a point, income effect will become the powerful and there will be decrease in the supply of labor. That is why I could say the supply of the labor is backward bending. So here we see, like here we take the units of labor at this wage rate, this much labor is willing to work at this much wage rate, and this is the labor who is ready to work. So we could draw, so this is the backward bending, because at the higher wage rate the less labor is willing to work, they prefer layer to work. Now we are going to see how the wage is determined under the perfect competition. Perfect competition, under the perfect competition there is a uniform price which is determined by the industry. Under perfect competition, equilibrium wage is determined at the point where demand and supply both are equal. Under perfect competition, in the long run, the labor a labor will get wages equal to marginal productivity or value of marginal productivity. Here we are going to understand so this is the demand and this is the supply. So this is the wage rate which is determined by the demand and supply, and suppose and the wage rate is increased to W1, but here the demand supply is more. So This is the equilibrium wage rate where the demand and supply they intersect each other. So this is the number of labor at this. This is the basically. This is the wage rate which is determined by the demand and supply by the industry and the ON units of the labor they are willing to ready. By chance the wage rate has risen to this level W1. At this level the supply is more. This is the supply and this is the demand. So definitely when demand is less, then the wage rate will automatically fall to this level. If due to certain reason, like this is the demand, this is the supply and this is the wage rate which is determined by the demand and supply, suppose there is a fall in the wage rate here, because this is the demand and this is the supply. So at this wage rate demand will be more and the supply will be less. So automatically wage rate will rise to this level. Short period. In the short run, it's difficult firm to equate fully demand and supply. Firm may face three situations. It may have supernormal profit, it may have normal profit, it may have loss. We will understand this situation because under perfect competition, the wage rate is determined by the industry. The firm they have to decide at this wage rate how many labor they are ready to hire. So in the short period, so under the perfect competition, if the period is short period, so here we see the equilibrium condition is where the MRP is cutting the MW at from the above. So this is the point of equilibrium. Here this is the MRP and this is the ARP, average revenue productivity, and this wage rate is determined by the industry, and this is the wage rate, and this is the firm which is earning by using these units of labor. So the firm is ARP is more than the average wage rate, so the firm is having supernormal profit. Under the second situation, here this is the point of equilibrium. Here the firm is getting wage rate which is equal to average wages, so the firm is having normal profit. Here this is the MRP and it is cutting the MW from the above. So this is the point of equilibrium, and this is the laborer who is generating this income, and the wages which we are paying to the labor is more and the revenue which we are generating from is less. So this much is the loss the firm suffers. In the long run, the firm is not going to have supernormal profit or losses. It will have the normal profits. So this is the situation in the long run. The firm is going to, like this is the AW which is equal to MW, which is the wage rate which is determined by the industry. So this is the MRP. So this is the point of equilibrium, and here, so under long period, ARP is equal to MRP which is equal to MW which is equal to average wage. So firm is going to have normal profit during the long period because it is going to make the payment to the labor according to their marginal productivity, which is equal to marginal productivity. In the long period, under perfect competition, the no firm can have supernormal profit or incur losses. The firm will be in equilibrium where the average wage rate is equal to marginal wage rate, which is equal to average revenue productivity, which is equal to marginal productivity. So this is the diagram which I have earlier also shown. Like this is the wage rate which is determined by the industry, but here the MRP, like here it is also cutting, but firm will not, because by hiring more person the firm could earn more profits, so it will employ up to this level. Here the condition is fulfilled. ARP is equal to MRP, which is equal to average wage rate, which is equal to marginal wage rate. Wage termination under imperfect competition. It is discussed by Mrs. John Robinson and Pigou. Monopoly is found in the factor market. Perfect competition is in the product market. Monopoly, there will be a single firm. If it demands more wages, monopoly means single purchaser. There will be a single firm. If it demands more wages, by single firm. If he demands more labor, then he will have to make the payment of more wages. If he demands less labor, then he will have to make less wages, make the payment less. The shape of average wage rate and marginal wage rate will be different. Under the perfect competition, it was horizontal to x-axis, and the average wage will lie below marginal wage rate. Firm will employ till MRP is equal to MW, but the average wage rate will be less than the marginal wage rate and MRP. Labor will get less wages than their marginal productivity. So this is the diagram. So here this is the diagram, because like this is the, like this is average wage rate, and this is, sorry, this will pass to this. I will draw again. So this is the average wage rate and this will be the marginal wage rate. So this is the MRP and this is the ARP. So this is the point of equilibrium. So the wage rate will be determined here. This is the wages which is paid, and this is the revenue which is total generating to the owner. So this will be the exploitation. So the exploitation will be equal to the basically here under imperfect competition the labor is exploited, because here he's because here he is not paid according to the marginal revenue productivity. Here there is a difference between the marginal revenue productivity and the average wage rate. So he is in this level under, so he's paid this much wages, and this much is kept by the owner. So this is the exploitation. And thanks for watching Shashi Agarwal channel.